Hi there! In this section we want to make this logo motion with the use of Motion 2 script. Let me first fit the scene. As you see, first of all our point comes in from outside and hits the M letter. And the letter M, because of this hit, wriggles. So our point has a liquid form of trace, and as we mentioned in previous courses, we can make it with the warp. And the last bounce of our point is a little higher than others. You see the tail of the point changes at this moment, but don't worry because I'm going to teach you how to make it. With a quick move, illuminates the letters then again goes to its place. So let's do it. First we go to the logo composition. This project is attached to the file of this part. This is our logo that we have to animate it. First of all, we have to create our point by O letter. Duplicate the O layer and then put it above all the other layers. So name it dot. With the pen tool and double click on one point of its path, we can select all of its points. And with Ctrl and Shift and dragging scale it down. We have to put it in its own position in order that to see if its scale is okay or not. So the position and the scale must be set. So I think it's okay. And we have to name and rearrange the other layers. So in this part we have no important issues, so I pass this part a little faster. So first things first, and we go straight ahead to our point. We use the script motion 2 to set its anchor points in middle of it. We can put it in such position. We press P to appear its position properties. For the position we have to create a keyframe and we go further 10 frames. With the shift and down key drag it down. And put it exactly in the surface of letter M. For making such an animation, the anchor points must be our down layer. So we go to the script and take it to the underneath layer. So we go further 15 frames. We put our point on O letter. So you can see that After Effects automatically softened the motion path, and we don't want this. So we clicked on Position Properties to select all frames. We right-click on one of them and choose the keyframe interpolation. In here, we have to put the second option on linear mode and press OK. So it's done. This time we go 14 frames further. We put the point on T. Again 13 frames ahead. And then putting the point on I letter. And again 12 frame and put it on O letter. Since in this part we have to have higher bounce, we need more time. And again here 15 frames and then set the position of the point. So now it's time to rearrange the jumps. Thanks for joining us up here, and we are gonna continue the job in the next clip. Welcome to the second session of exercise project of training Motion 2 script. We have done it until here and the jumps on the letters was simulated. First, let's see a preview of the job. So now we have to take back the last keyframe of X position in order to have a slow motion movement. Okay, a little more. Well, it got better. Here we have to make the effect that this point puts on the letter one by one. So we start with the M letter. First of all, we have to set the opacity of letters. You can press T and the opacity of the layer will be appeared. Exactly in the frame that the ball hits to the letter, we set the opacity on 30% and make a keyframe for it. We go ahead one frame and set the opacity on 100% again. Press on Shift and P to show the position and activate the chronometer next to it. In this frame it has to be in its main position, so we make a keyframe for it. And one frame after that we add 10 pixels to Y position. We can do this by writing +10. Again we go one frame further and copy the keyframe of main position here. Now we add excite command to it. Okay, its bounces are so high and the number of jumps are so many. We have to set it. Of course, these settings are on your own. I prefer that put overshoot on 10 and put the bounce on 20. I think it's very good. So we can do the same process for the rest of the letters. For the last letter, N, we don't need to do this. All we have to do is tuning the opacity. So because of that, from here on, we need handles, and position when gets separate, we can't use its motion paths handles. We have to parent it to a null. So our null is very big. We got to make a smaller one. Let's go to the setting of preference scripts and change the null size to 20. Well, it got better. Press on P to show the position. Make a keyframe. Let me drag out the point a little because if we drag it down, it doesn't collide to the edge of the letter. So now it's time to animate the null object. We go further 10 frames and drag down the point. Again 10 frames forward and take it down and right. Let me drag it up a little. Now we have to set the motion path by handles. In this keyframe, the beginning of the path must be straight. Now dragging the last keyframe a little up and right. Set its handles again. We have to put forward its keyframe some frames further. For understanding if the speed between the keyframes are the same or not, you have to focus on these small dots. And some frames further I will take forward the last keyframe. So here, because our point must move on the bottom line, we have to drag down the last keyframe. Again, drag it right, like here. I think it's good. So going further 10 frames, and next keyframe must be fixed here. And again, I have to set this keyframe's handle. And 10 frames further and put the next keyframe after the letters. So in order that the speed be like each other, I have to take back this keyframe a little. I think it got better. Now going 20 frames forward and putting the next keyframe here. By the Convert Vertex tool, we have to soften these points. This keyframe and also this one. Again, going 10 frames forward and set the last keyframe. Now set this keyframe's handle. We can move this keyframe with the Move tool. In order that the difference in speed get to the closest distance, we can press Ctrl and click on this keyframe and change them to Bezier continuous. Also, by making the missile slider to 0, we could do this. So now let's see a preview of the job. In order that our animated point be seen, we can put the opacity of down letters to 30%. As you can see, the density of this part is a little high, and it means that the speed of movement is down. So now we have to put these keyframes close together. For making the movement of our point more smooth, and also not having any difference in the speed between the keyframes, we have to right click on these keyframes and choose the Rove Across option. And also this keyframe. So here we have to speed up, and for this we have to take these keyframes backward. So because the previous keyframe is row across, it doesn't have an exact time position, so we have to change it to linear keyframe. As we are moving the keyframe in time, the row across mode is cancelled. With pressing Ctrl and clicking, next keyframe is also out of easy ease mode. So now we can speed up with moving these keyframes. So I think it's good. Now here we have to add an excite for standing off the point get nicer. In order that excite doesn't have effect on previous keyframes, we have to put keyframe to all and make them 0 in previous frames. Okay, so the movement of the last bounce has lots of dots. Let me turn on this option to see the effect of expression on motion path. Okay, we have to change this 20 to 10 and making the bounce on 30. I think 20 is better. And let me set the overshoot on 8. This zigzag mode that is visible to you is because of a sudden change in the values of bounces, and it's not important for us because it doesn't have any effect on our animate. Let me see. Apparently I made 3 keyframes on mistake, so we have to drag the third keyframe on the second. You see, when we take the bounce keyframe backward, our zigzag move also comes back. I think it is good, but let me make it better. I set the overshoot on 6, and let's see it again. Okay, it's better. Let me take a look to the whole animate. Okay, so now it's time to animate the bottom letters. We need that when our point crosses the letter, they must be illuminated. I copied an opacity keyframe and pasted it on T. First, I have to come back a frame and Ctrl V. And I must do this with other letters. So now I have to animate the position of the letters to make it more interesting. Press on P and give the position a keyframe. We go ahead one frame. I set the X value on -10. After one frame, I copy the first keyframe and paste it here. I set the overshoot on 10 and bounce on 20. So our animate is a little fast. We have to take the third keyframe 2 frames forward. Let me set the bounce on 30. Maybe it will be better. And now forward the second keyframe 1 frame further. Yet it is a little fast, and for being better, I have to move ahead the third keyframe 1 frame further. Okay, it's better. We have to do this to all other letters. But pay attention that the distance between keyframes must be 2 and 3, and our effects are 10 and 30. So after we apply it on all of the letters, we can see a sneak preview of the whole animate. Okay, it's very good. Stay with us on the next clip to complete our logo motion. Okay, welcome to the third and the last session of our logo motion project. So, we until up here finished our animate. Let's see a preview of it. Now it's time to make a liquid tail for our point. First, we have to duplicate our point layer. You can click and drag on the chronometers to deactivate all of them in order to delete all keyframes. Also, we can use Alt and click to deactivate the expressions. These effects must be omitted too. We don't need to separate property position. So after that, we parent it to the main layer and also set its anchor point in middle of it. Here warp command is given to it. So for the layer to be visible, we have to set its effects. First of all, we have to solo the layer. Put the choke 1 parameter on -44 in order that the distance between the point and tail is at closest height. We can move the tail layer, but it's not a usual act. For having a better tail, we can reduce the softness. So we take back our tail layer to its main position. In order to have no distance, we adjust the echo time. I set it on 0.003. I also adjust number of echo on 20. But maybe 25 is better. So we have to duplicate our tail layer. Drag it down a little. And then reducing its number of echo. So here most of our volume belongs to the first layer of tail. We can figure it out by taking away its eyes, make it a little shorter. In order to reduce its volume, we lower its softness. And for bringing closer, echo time also is reduced. Okay, so let's take a look to our tail in other moods. Okay, I think we have to drag our tail a little up. We increase the echo time to get a good distance. No, it's so much. I have to change it to 3. So in order to be better, I have to duplicate the second tail. We increase its echo time to get some distance from object. 0.008 I think is good. Now set the number of echo on 5. Again, I have to set the echo time to make the third tail away. So I think 0.03 is good. The echo of number changes to 3. Okay, going ahead. And here our third tail is revealed. If I increase echo time a little more, its distance will increase either. So we have to check our tail in different situations. So from this frame along, our point tail must be changed. I select 3 layers of the tail and press Alt and closing square bracket for the ending part of the layer gets squeezed. So I select this layer and then duplicate it. Again pressing opening square bracket key for the beginning part be transported to this frame. I set its position and doing the same again. I put number of echo on 10 and setting echo time on 0.002. Also adjust choke 1 on -83 to be thicker. Okay, I have to shorten its length and we select and duplicate the layer. This must be longer. And also with increasing the choke math you can make it thinner. And also with increasing the choke math you can make it thinner. And again another duplicate of it and making the length a little longer. This time adjusting diagonal with the choke 1. And again another duplicate. The length must be longer. And again make it thinner. As you can see, each layer makes a part of the length of our tail. Okay, with another layer we can increase the length of tail. Now set the number of echo on 25 and make it thinner. Okay, after adding the tail our project gets heavier than it was. Let me fit the scene. I try to take a preview of the scene. For saving time I do the renders faster. Okay, this is the outcome of our motion logo. I hope you enjoy this course and see you in the next training.